Welcome to Sikbaggers YouTube channel. I'm Steve. Today got something pretty cool for you. Now on our channel we got over 240 bagger and softail related videos. Two of those videos are actually dealing with the LED light kits. Now both of those videos were on the cheapo Amazon Fleabay LED accent light kits, and they're all basically the exact same thing. You get a control box and a couple of remotes, and you get this little squid, what I call a squid. It's like a single, like into 5 or into 10. But the problem with those is you have about 97,000 miles of wire left over that you have to zip tie up and cram in somewhere, usually behind the right hand side cover, and it's just a freaking hot mess. The brightness level on those LEDs, when you get them and you put them on the bike and you're looking at it and you're like, man, those are really bright. They're really only bright because you haven't actually compared them to a better set of LEDs. So they are kind of priced accordingly. The third problem with those Amazon kits is you like I said before, you do get multiple sizes of those LED light strips. You're gonna get like 2 12-inch, you'll get like 4 8-inch, and maybe 4 of the 6-inch, maybe 2 of the little 3-inch ones, which you can generally kind of find a place to put them, but it never really covers the area perfect. It's just kind of there. But today I have a very unique kit for you from SOME9CUSTOMS. Now I got this kit in a couple of weeks ago and I just haven't had time to get it on the bike yet, but we're going through the Road Glide, and with the Road Glide like this being all blacked out, I had an Amazon kit on this bike. That's why it's all stripped down now, because I take all that stuff off. When you have a blacked out bike, they don't have anything to bounce off of. The lights don't, like with the chrome bike and you put the LED lights on it, man, it just like doubles the intensity because you have chrome. Black is a lot harder to get that like extra shine out of those lights. Now I bench tested this kit yesterday, and holy crap, these light strips and this control module are super bright. Now the coolest thing about these kits that he sells is they're actually cut to the bike. They're specific to the Street Glide or the Road Glide or the Road King. And he doesn't just do motorcycles, he does a lot of other stuff too. He's got kits for all kinds of things. So, you know, the Can-Ams and the Spiders and all that good stuff. He's got a lot of kits available, and they're all pre-cut and pre-made for that specific application. Now you are going to have wires from the control box, but it's not like those ones that have 10 feet for each wire and you can't really cut them in, you know, down to size. So the one we got is specifically cut to the Road Glide. The second thing that I found most intriguing about this kit is everything has a place. Every one of these strips has a place, and it's specifically cut to that place. So you're not going to be taking your saddlebag rail that's, you know, 14 inches long and sticking a 6-inch strip on it. It's going to be the length of that saddlebag rail. Another super cool thing about this light kit is there's 21 light strips, and these light strips are going to go in places that I'd never honestly thought about sticking light strips. So I just wanted to let you know up front, yes, this kit is going to be more expensive than the cheapo Amazon Fleabay kits, but you're getting a lot more. I'm talking a lot more, and they're super, super bright. I do quickly want to show you what you're going to get in the box. This is the control module here. You will come with another power line that goes to your battery with an inline fuse. You are going to get 2 keychain remotes, and at the end of this video, I will cover exactly how this remote works. Now this is just one of the squids that's going to come off the control box. As you can see, we've got all these different LED strip sizes that you're not going to get in those cheapo kits. Hopefully I can get this up here where you can see it, but see that copper piece right there? It has a line going through it. You can cut LED strips as long as you cut it right in the middle of that copper. These are pre-cut to your motorcycle, but if you have to, maybe you've added something to your bike that's not normally on a bike and it kind of gets in the way, go ahead and go back to that next copper line and cut it off. On this one right here, if you go to the end of it, it has an actual another jumper coming out of it where you can connect another light strip. So it will take me quite a bit of time to get this kit on today, and I'm going to try to shorten this video up the best I can, but also show you exactly where we put the strip, exactly where we ran the wires. So the first thing I want you to do is get your seat off, get your saddlebags off, pop your side covers off. Then I want you to watch this next pre-recorded clip from another video that I've already done showing you how to take the touring model tank off. Now we're going to purge the fuel system. If you follow this wire out from underneath your tank dash, you'll see it comes back here to this gray plug. You're going to go ahead and pull that gray plug and get that out of the way. While we're here, we can go ahead and disconnect the vapor vent. We're going to take that off. You can see that comes out from underneath your dash. So this ST has a side gas cap on it. So if your motorcycle has a side gas cap on it, you don't have to worry about this next step. But if you have the center gas cap, you're going to have another rubber line. This one's plastic, and you're going to have another rubber one that comes out here. It's going to come along, that's going to feed right down here, and that is your overflow line. So you would just pull it up through here, and then when we put this back together, you're just going to feed it back down through. You just want that dripping on the ground. So now we're going to purge the system. With this disconnected, this is your fuel pump. This is disconnected, so the bike will start and run and die. That's when we know the system is purged. Just like that. And try to start it again. It's not going to start. Now right here underneath this left side cover, you got your 50 amp main fuse. We're going to go ahead and pull that. Now if we look right up here on the front side of the tank, you've got this little black plastic cover right here. You can simply pull that top down just like that and pull that off, and exposes the bolt. You have one of those on each side. That's going to be a Torx 40. So right here on the bottom of the tank, you got your fuel line. You simply push up on this sleeve while pulling down on this black part. Now, even though we purged the tank, go ahead and get a little towel, because you are going to lose a little bit of fuel. We're going to push up on this and pull down on this. Now, sometimes these can be a little bit of a booger to get off, especially on the older bikes. All you have to do is just keep pushed up on this and keep wiggling and pulling down on this, and it will come off. Right here on the back side of the tank, you got a bolt here and a bolt here. You don't have to take the dash off to do this. It's going to be a Torx 40 again. Now the fuel tank's ready to come off. It's really that easy. We're going to pull it back a little bit and then pull it off. So that way we make sure our dash and our tank don't smack the ignition up here on top. So we're going to get under it, pull the tank back, and then we're going to lift up on it. Now on the back side of those LEDs, that is 3M brand double-sided tape. So actually one of the best tapes that you can use to stick this stuff. But there are things that you need to do before you stick them. Get yourself a cheap bottle of rubbing alcohol, and for God's sakes, don't take the pretty towels off the front of the stove to come out here and wipe on your bike. If your ass ends up on the couch tonight, that's on you. So the first thing I'm going to do is hook up my control module. I'm going to put that control module, it does just go to the positive and negative, inline fuse built into it, but I said it's split, so we're going to add some wire to it. And if you suck at soldering like I do, pick yourself up some of these little solder heat things. You can get them on Amazon, the little heat shrink things with solder built into them. I'll put a link in the description down below. We can slide our control box into place. Put it down here a little bit so it's not rubbing on anything. So if you notice on our box that we got for this kit, we've got 4 connectors and we got an extension on this one. I just lay all of these up here. What I'm going to do is take one of these, it doesn't matter which one, we're going to pull it through and make sure that it goes behind all this stuff. Just a straight shot down to the bottom of the bike. And that's going to reach right down there to the bottom of the bike. Any excess we can just kind of pull up here. So we got one for the wheel strut or fender strut right here. It's going to go on the bottom facing down. This one here is our swing arm. This one here is our saddlebag rail. So it's going to come right here off the center of the bike, come down. It's going to come down this. You're going to zip tie it to the bag rail. It's going to stick to the bottom of the bag rail right there. Then there is the one that I told you that had the long extension on it, so it's got a plug on both ends. This one's going to come from the center of the bike. This one's going to go down here on the bottom of the frame. And the important thing about this one is that you put it on the inside of the frame, not on the very bottom, because you slide jacks and everything else under there. You don't want them pressing on these LEDs. Now this one's going to continue up, and it's going to go up in our chin spoiler. Because this is the end and I want to make sure that this gets into my chin spoiler, I'm going to start at the chin spoiler first and then work my way back here. But the centerpiece will all be right here underneath this side cover. So what I was talking about with the rubbing alcohol and the rag, make sure your bike is clean. Make sure it's not got caked on dirt and crap like that. Get that stuff off with however you wash your bike. Then you'll take your towel and your rubbing alcohol, soak the towel with rubbing alcohol, make sure that metal is super clean with the rubbing alcohol. So what I'm going to do right now is cut the camera just to save time in this video. Once I get these two squids installed and the lights that go on those two squids, I'll cut the camera back on and I'll show you exactly what we did. So as of right now, I got half the bike done. I'm going to show you how we ran the wires and exactly where the LED strips go. And if you think about this bike in sections, this makes this a lot easier. You're basically starting with the bottom and the rear of the bike, and then the tank is a section, and then the whole front end is a section. So the bottom section and the rear of the bike are going to use two of those main sections, a left and a right. You put a squid underneath this side cover and you basically cover this side of the bike, and then you've got an extension that goes from there over to this side, and then you add your second squid. I put it here underneath the left side of the side cover. One on each side of the chin spoiler. It comes back, you have an extension that goes to a frame rail light right here, and then off of this squid you're going to come this way and you're going to go around the swing arm. It's going to start right here at the top, it's going to go around the swing arm and back down the bottom. You of course have one on the bottom of the saddlebag rail, and then right here on the fender strut, underneath the fender strut aiming down, you've got one that starts up in here and works its way all the way back, and it's up in here. So it basically kind of starts on this frame rail right here and it comes up and it goes all the way back to here. So it's a pretty long LED strip. So like I said, that covers two channels. Now I do have the tank done. It's over there on the workbench. I'm not going to set it up here yet because I have the front section still to do. We'll think about that as our third section. So right, one section, two sections, tank will be third section. You're going to use that third wire off your program box. It's going to come right up here. One is going to go underneath the tank on both sides, and then one's going to go underneath the dash. Now running the LED lights underneath the dash was pretty unique to me. We have the Advan Black low profile tank dash on the Advan Black stretch tank covers, and that dash has those rubber pieces down the edge of it, just like your metal OEM one does. Like on the Street Glide, we've never ran that rubber. That bike's blue and completely chromed out, and I've never liked the way that those black rubber strips looked in there. So I removed them, and I've had them off for the last couple of years, and it's never done anything. Once you tighten that thing down, it's not like it's moving on the tank and scratching your paint all up. Now when you take that rubber strip off, there's actually a fine little bitty line that's kind of open just slightly down the sides of that tank dash, and you can see that light coming right through there. The fourth section is your front end. So you got one for each side of the fender, two that go in the vent, and then two that go on the inside of this, kind of on the painted part, or maybe you don't have a painted interfering, the black part on the inside. So the headlight strip will not work on a stock headlight. If you have a headlight like this, one of these attack headlights, this one's from Advan Black, but I want to show you how this LED strip goes around the headlight. You're going to start at the top. I started with the cutoff end, not the wire end, and you take super glue and you put it on the actual LED strip side. So basically, if you look through here, you can see the LED strip facing down. Instead of facing up, pointing out, you want it facing down, like ran backwards. You put a dab of super glue right here, you touch it, a dab here, push it in, a dab here, push it in, go all the way around the entire headlight. And I just did like a little dab, a little dab, a little dab, each corner, one in the middle, until the line comes right back out here at the top. The long extension wire is going to go from the main control box. It's going to go underneath your tank. We took the top of this cover off. This is where all your wires are. There's a plastic cover that goes on this and it just snaps off. Just take that off, run the wire up with an extension, and you're going to go through the side of the frame right here where all of those wires go into the interfering. There's a big square hole in here, and if you look down to the right here and down to the left there, there's a hole from the outside where all your wires, all these big harnesses, come through and then go into the middle, and then you can do whatever you want with it once you get it on the inside. You can see my extension is coming through that hole. I'll take this SS wire here, I'll zip tie it up in here, but from here we're going to put our last squid on here. So I'm going to cut the camera right now. I'm going to get myself back to work, but before we turn it all on, I'll cut the camera back on and I'll show you what we did. Okay, so now we have the front end lights done, the fender lights done, and I'll show you how we ran the wires. Back on this side, you've got a hole in the side of your frame. That's your main wire. It's going to be an extension. You can see I brought it up off the pack right here. Got an extension here. This goes down my tray, and it goes in that hole and comes out the center behind the headlight. Now once that one's through, you're going to take that squid, your last squid, and you're going to plug it into that behind this headlight. A couple of bolts to remove your headlight. You got one here, one here, one here, and one here. 2 wires coming down right here that goes to the inside of the interfering. The light starts right here on this side, and it wraps this whole thing all the way back, and does that on both sides. And we super glue tack that around that headlight facing in. Then you've got 2 that come in the vent. They come out the sides right here. They come up. These wires are just going to set and lay like this with vent lights inside here. Starts right here. It's going to go back here behind the fork, and it comes out right here by the brake line. This is where it stops. Zip tie it to your brake line. Once that wire is zip tied to your brake line, I went back through those same holes in the side of the frame to get back to the inside of the interfering, because this is on the outside. You have to leave yourself plenty of slack on these 2 wires. You can't pull this up into the interfering through the neck and make it real tight. Your handlebars are going to turn, so you have to have wire in there that'll move when you turn. I am going to bring you over here to the tank real quick to show you how we did that. Remember, we took the rubber strip out of here. You can see there's a small gap right there. So the lights are actually on the back side of this. I took this off. There's a screw here and a bolt down here. Take the gas cap off, flip this over. On the inside of this, facing in, so stuck to the back side of this edge, from the bottom all the way to the top on both sides. On the bottom of the tank, you're just going to run a strip down both sides of the bottom of the tank. If your tank's full of fuel, you don't have to flip your tank over. You can do it one side at a time, put it on its side, lift it up, kind of hold it with your arm, clean it super good with your rubbing alcohol, let it dry, stick your light. So the only thing I have left to do is actually taking the tank and setting it back on the bike and plugging those lights in. Then I'm going to give it a test run. Finally, it's been a very long day, but we got the bike completely put back together. I think that if I could have came out here on a Saturday morning and done this, it probably would have took me 3 or 4 hours, and that's taking my time, making sure everything is clean and everything is installed properly. So coming off the main box right here, you have an additional blue wire here. This is your brake light wire. Once I hook this blue wire into my brake light wire, what happens is every time I hit the brakes, no matter what color I have on the bike, it automatically turns everything red. Underneath your seat, you've got a gray plug and a black plug. Sometimes on the newer models, this black plug may be up here on the fender well. If you unplug that, on the side that goes back to your lighting, you look in here, you got a bunch of pins. Get yourself a cheap test light just like this. I think these are like $6 or $7 on Amazon. Go ahead and take your one side, ground it to the bike, and you're going to go in here and start touching pins. Now I already know which wire it is. If I put this other end on that pin and hold it, you'll see this light up when I hit the brakes. On most of the 14 and newer touring models, I'm not quite sure what it is on 13 down, but it's the blue wire with the red stripe. You can connect this blue wire to that wire however you want. I use posi taps like this. These little things are kind of expensive for what they are, but they work amazing. Once again, link in the description to a little pack of posi taps. When you bring this blue wire over, make sure it goes around the back side or the front side of your battery to that wire. Don't just lay it right over the top of your ECM. Go ahead and cut my bike off. You can pull your main fuse. It's right over there, big red fuse. You can't miss it. One side of this posi tap is going to have like a little notch in it. There's a little point right there and a little notch in that cap. So what I'm going to do is run this around that wire. So you just press it through the cuts that are in the side of that, and then when I screw this on, it's going to just tap into that wire. So now it's connected to that blue wire with the red stripe. I'm going to take the other end off. Don't drop these down in your battery tray because they're hard to find. I'm going to strip back just a little bit of this wire. I'm going to run it through the cap just like that. So now the cap's setting on the wire, and I'll push this down in there a little bit, push that screw and put it right back into place. So I'm just screwing it down. Now scooted you back so you can see what's going on. So you can see the whole bike lit up red. And I let off back to whatever color you had it on. So we got our 2 front wheel lights, one on each side. We got our lights up in there. If I come down here, you can see them. If you're straight on the bike, you're not going to see those. We got our vent lights glowing through the bezel. We got our headlight ring where we super glued that backwards on the headlight. Got the chin spoiler lights down there. We'll go under the bike. You see that middle section. And then the whole back of the bike's lighting up with all those strips in there. We can see it all through the back. Frame and swing arms helping to light up the exhaust in the middle. And there, you can see that bottom one. There's our tank one on the bottom. And there's where we took that black strip out, and this got that little glow through that little bitty crack right there. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to quickly go over this remote with you. As you can see on here, it does have 4 buttons, A, B, C, D. D is on and off. A is going to cycle through colors. B is going to flash that color or strobe. C will be a breathing mode, so the color breathes. On the A button, when you're cycling through your colors, you're going to go, it's like I said, it starts on red, but it's going to go through all of the colors that it'll make. You go through this slowly, we'll end up on this dark blue color. That right there. You can see that mode right there changes colors, right? Speed that up by holding the B button down. And you can slow it down by holding the C button down. So if you hit the A button again, it's going to go into a breathing mode like that, that also changes colors. The B button, and speed that up, and you can see how quick that changes colors now. C button, gonna slow it way down. When you're on A, you can hold the A button down and it decreases the brightness level. I think there's like 4 stages of brightness. If I hold that A button down, it will dim. And it'll go all the way back to bright. Right off the bat, super impressed with how bright it is. And I really like the extra LEDs that are in there. And they're not just all pre-made strips, you know, where you get 12-inch, a couple 8-inch, a couple 6-inch, maybe a couple 3-inch. These are actually cut to fit every specific part. So you're getting all that extra good stuff, super bright lights, a better control box. Like I said, can't beat it. So like I said in the beginning of the video, he doesn't just make these kits for Harley Davidson baggers. He makes them for all kinds of things. And he has another upgraded kit that has a chasing light thing on it that's pretty cool. I'll throw up a quick little video right here. You can see that bike and how the lights are actually chasing around it. So that's an upgraded kit, and you can talk to him about that. If you want to get your hands on one of these, all of the contact information will be in the description down below. You can call Andy up on this number right here at SOME9CUSTOMS, or use the email right here to contact him. So I'll put all of that information in the description of the video down below. I hope this video helped you, and if it did, please hit that like button. Subscribe to our channel. Over 240 maintenance and install videos right here on the Sick Bagger YouTube channel. Tell your friends about us. I'm going to get out of here and get myself back to work. I hope to see you in the next video, but until then, as always, be safe, keep your knees in the breeze. Hey, thanks for stopping by and checking out our videos today. If you like what you see, make sure you hit that like button, hit the little subscribe button popping up over here. If you want to check out more of our content, I've got 2 videos right here that'll get you started. Not really going to say anything else, just click one of those videos and take you to another video.